Hey everyone, AquaTwist here. A new month, a new first-party exclusive for the Switch 2. This time, it's Dragon Drive, a new IP centered around wheelchair basketball. I was intrigued when this game was revealed at the Switch 2 Direct, considering its unique control scheme and premise. However, I couldn't help but be reminded about a similar title which launched during the Switch 1, ARMS. Both titles are new IPs trying to do something different, being more experimental than Nintendo's usual outings. ARMS never reached its full potential, not having the same staying power as a Splatoon or an Animal Crossing. And sadly, Dragon Drive seems to be suffering a worse fate, with the overwhelming negativity around this game's launch. But I wanted to give Dragon Drive an honest chance to see how it compares to ARMS. I'll be discussing the novelty, value, and fun factor of these two titles in a battle of the new IP. Which game is more successful to join Nintendo's roster? Will history repeat itself? Let's find out. ARMS, for those who haven't heard of it, is a 3D fighting game. No, not 3D like a Tekken or Virtua Fighter, I mean full 3D, like Power Stone or an arena fighter like Naruto Ultra Storm. Fighting games are one of my favorite video game genres, so it's always exciting when I try out fighting games I've never played before, be it old or new. Even today, ARMS remains unique among its contemporaries, as you move in a 3D space, focusing primarily on ranged attacks, as opposed to most fighting games having you attack up close. It's almost like a shoot 'em up with how you have to dodge these long arms coming at you from the opponent. But your movement is still limited like a traditional fighting game. There's potential to expand this concept further in a future title. A new fighting game success relies heavily on its roster, and ARMS is no exception. We have a colorful cast of unique characters with different playstyles, from the resurrection of Flubber with Helix to the ramen-inspired design of Min Min. Every character stands out from each other, and there's something for everyone. It reminds me of Waku Waku 7 on the Neo Geo, which features some of the craziest designs I've seen in a fighting game. It's just a shame we don't have much backstory or info about them otherwise. Part of the appeal of fighting games and why certain series have staying power is we can learn about these backgrounds. Even something as simple as an image in arcade mode can tell 1,000 words about who these characters are and why we should care about them. That wasn't the case for ARMS, outside of a brief blurb in the Grand Prix mode, and was a huge missed opportunity. As for Dragon Drive, it's a wheelchair basketball game. While wheelchair basketball has been a part of the Paralympics for decades, Dragon Drive is one of the few video games to depict the sport. That's super exciting, as it can raise awareness of this lesser-known format to people. Wait, I'm sorry, it's not actual wheelchair basketball. Damn it! Ugh, so much for good disability representation. Speaking of representation, what is with these character designs? Don't get me wrong, I love the sci-fi approach, as opposed to using a generic sports aesthetic like a Nintendo Switch Sports. The playable robots remind me of the ones from Metroid Prime Blast Ball on the 3DS, but you can only change your helmet and body types from a few options, and different colors for the rest of your body. In an online multiplayer-focused title, customization is crucial for getting players engaged with the experience. I get Nintendo didn't want to take a risk and use humanoid avatars, but why can't they use the Miis? It's like if Nintendo made a new Mario Strikers game, but the only playable character was the Super Team. The character designs alone fails to gravitate people's attention to Dragon Drive. But Dragon Drive's biggest strength? It's an excellent showcase of mouse mode's capabilities for Switch 2 games and menus. ARMS doesn't showcase any of the Switch 1's unique features, as motion controls were already the main focus of the Wii and Wii U. Switching between portable and docked play wasn't emphasized much for this title either, compared to Breath of the Wild with a massive open world that allows you to start playing, take it with you, and resume from anywhere, anytime. That is the perfect showcase of the Switch 1's capabilities. While ARMS is a diverse character roster and takes a unique spin on the fighting game genre, there are hundreds of other arena fighters out there with similar mechanics, compared to the lack of wheelchair basketball video games. In this case, Dragon Drive has a slight edge in terms of the novelty factor. When ARMS launched back in 2017, it retailed for $60, the standard for first-party Switch games at the time. Considering the amount of content available at launch, roster, and online play, $60 was a decent asking price. Not great, but not outrageous. Nowadays, ARMS can be found for around $25 to $30 secondhand physically and still $60 digitally. If you bought it today, you'd receive all the 3 updates the game added, including the new characters and stages. On top of the traditional Grand Prix mode, Versus includes a bunch of different game modes. Whether if it's playing explosive volleyball, dunking your opponents in hoops, or fighting 100 enemies in a row, there's enough variety to keep you interested without feeling too bored. But Dragon Drive? It's only $20. For a digital-only title, that's honestly cheaper than what I expected it to cost. This price point reminds me of other eShop titles from the Wii U and 3DS era, which is refreshing. But what do you get for $20? Just one gameplay mode? That's it. You can play online matches with other racers or your friends, but not both at the same time, like in Mario Kart World. Sure, there are a couple of mini games you can play as a break in between matches. Rebound Scrambler, where you and other players try to be the first to catch the ball falling from the air, and Circuit Sprint, a race to reach the goal as quickly as possible. As for single player, your only option is the bot matches, where you face off against the AI and can choose from one of 9 difficulty levels. It's nice that winning enough of these matches can unlock new helmets your character can wear, but there aren't that many. I know there will be completionists out there who are determined to unlock all of these, but I'm personally not motivated enough to do so. Considering the lack of content available, $20 is a bit overpriced for Dragon Drive. $10 to $15 would have been perfect to get more people on board. In 2025 and beyond, if you only had the money to buy one of these games, I'd get ARMS. Considering you would fully own the game if you bought it physically, and get all the free additional content, an extra $5 to $20 would add far more value. I don't see much staying power for Dragon Drive, especially as more first-party exclusives come out for the Switch 2. As an online multiplayer-focused game, once the servers shut down, there will barely be any content available left to play. Now, let's compare how fun these two games are to play. ARMS allows you to use either motion controls or button controls if you want to play more traditionally. Both control schemes work excellently, and the game works well for either playstyle. Guarding may be a bit clunky when using motion controls, but otherwise, using either arm to punch feels really intuitive, and you only have to worry about 3 buttons. However, if you just stick with the Pro Controller, ARMS is still enjoyable, but the cracks in the game's design start to show. The limited core moveset can make matches feel repetitive, and I wish there were more options. You could argue, that's what the ARMS are for, as their unique gimmicks require you to strategize differently. But regardless of what mode you play, the game flow can get stale after a while. Though I will say, I had a surprisingly great time replaying ARMS for this video. It still can be fun at times, even 8 years later. As for Dragon Drive, you are forced to use the Joy-Con 2s in mouse mode. No button control support. I understand the dev team wanted to push this feature of the Switch 2, but it's way more tiring on my arms, compared to playing ARMS with motion controls. But to be fair, how would a traditional control scheme be used? Constantly flicking up on the analog sticks? Alternating between the different shoulder buttons? That doesn't sound fun at all. So we have to play like this. Personally, using the table is much less responsive than I imagined, so I have to play on my legs. I expected a satisfying gliding motion to move my character forward. Unfortunately, moving the Joy-Cons in sync is not as straightforward as I hoped. I kept accidentally leaning to one direction and couldn't properly move straight. So zooming across the court and making a slam dunk was more cumbersome than fun. But when I do get the magic moment where the controls work just right and I have great teammates, that is when Dragon Drive shines. Unfortunately, doing all the motion controls caused pain in my wrists and neck, and I couldn't play for long play sessions. I couldn't imagine how painful this would be if someone in their 40s or 50s tried playing it, let alone 25. Anyway, the wheelchair basketball sport is gamified in an attempt to be more enjoyable. Courts have ramps where you can leap off and do tricks, to help gain momentum and do crazy dunks on the hoops. Performing these tricks successfully gains you bonus points as part of your main score, though I wish the points were whole numbers instead of just decimals. Teams are simplified to just 2v2 or 3v3, reminding me of the basketball pickup game from Wii Sports Resort. Personally, 2v2s are more enjoyable, as you have more wiggle room to perform passes and tricks on the court. In both variations, blocking shots from opponents feels unintuitive. You have to directly face your opponent and slam into them in order to gain control of the ball, unlike other basketball games where you can swipe the ball away from the side. Maybe it's a skill issue, but I feel Drag and Drive is more balanced towards offense, where defense is less effective. So while both Drag and Drive and ARMS had their frustrating quirks, I felt ARMS was more consistently fun. The physical soreness from Drag and Drive's control scheme hurt my enjoyment of the game, which is a shame because I had some sick moments when playing online. ARMS can get repetitive and stale quickly, but the button controls are more comfortable to play for longer sessions. Overall, ARMS and Drag and Drive are solid attempts of Nintendo branching out into new series. These are just two of the countless failures Nintendo has had with every console generation. As Nintendo continues building their legacy, it's important for them to continue developing new IPs and trying something new. I'll always love Mario, Kirby, and Metroid, but it just gets stale seeing new entries in those series all the time, like in the 3DS and Wii U era. So regardless of what we may think of Drag and Drive or other failed experiments like Codename Steam, I believe we should give Nintendo credit for taking a risk with a new IP, especially with a development team of 18 people and a lower price point. This is what the game industry needs more than ever, as the onslaught of massive budget, open world AAA games continues to collapse. It's just a shame that Drag and Drive is a failure, because Nintendo and other companies will get the message that these smaller budget titles aren't what players want, which is far from the truth. The winner in the battle of the new IPs is ARMS. While it may not be surprising, I really wanted to give Drag and Drive a fair chance, as I did when first playing ARMS back in 2017. After enjoying my time with the Global Jam demo, I was disappointed with the lack of content and personality with the characters. Hopefully, the mouse mode from Drag and Drive isn't just a gimmick and will benefit future titles. But who do you think won this battle? Let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to like this video, share this video, and subscribe if you want to see more Switch 2 content like this. Thank you to my channel members for supporting me, and remember, your life is your own.
Objection!